Welcome to Fair Game. I'm Kristine Leahy. My guest today protected Jared Goff's blind side as the Rams made their way to the Super Bowl. At 37, he isn't just the league's oldest offensive lineman, he's also one of its best. Four-time Pro Bowl selection Andrew Whitworth is here. It's good to meet you.
Hey, good to meet you.
So you spent 11 very productive years with the Bengals, and then you wound up coming to the Rams. And I heard the story that on your flight, you were talking to your wife and you said, hey, you know, the Super Bowl dreams are really over, going to the Rams. I mean, did you really think that?
You know, I think when I had the opportunity to leave Cincinnati, we'd had 5 straight seasons where we'd been to the playoffs. We'd been really close and had some opportunities. We'd won our division, thought we were a favorite to go to the Super Bowl and at least going to be in the mix. And just didn't work out. And we didn't win any of those playoff games. And so it was a tough experience, but we knew what we were doing. We were moving in the right direction. And then we have a bad year, and really things are starting to change. You could tell that some things are going to be different with the team. And we signed, you know, with the Rams in free agency, who had, you know, over the last couple of years have been very bad, hadn't had a lot of success. You know, there was a lot of things said about, you know, the potential of Jared Goff, the potential of the team just wasn't there. And, you know, I think so when I signed here, I knew really coming to do this with Sean McVay, who was really the only coach I had a little bit of understanding of and known very well on the offensive side. And so coming here with him, I knew, hey, you know what, this is an opportunity to establish a culture, be a part of something where we're going to try and get guys to do it the right way. We're going to try and put our effort and our attitude into making a culture, a relationship business to where we're going to believe in one another. We're going to go out every single week and do it for the guy next to us. Now, how fast that'll turn, how fast that would happen, the talent that was here, you know, I really had no way to know. But I knew that I was going to give my best to that. Did I think that there's an opportunity we'd go to Super Bowl anytime soon? Not really. But I told my wife, what I actually said to her was, I said, you realize that the potential of us being in a Super Bowl is probably gone because I don't know if I'll play long enough at my age to be able to be with this team when they go.
Yeah.
But what I did know, and I told her this on that flight, is that we will make a difference.
What's your relationship like with Jared? He's much younger than you, too.
You know what? Jared and me are probably just brothers. I'm having a big brother. I think half the time I annoy him. And
you annoy him?
Yeah, and
How?
then other times I think he, you know what, just constantly being in his ear, like things he can do.
Oh, to get better?
Yeah, I mean, just not necessarily better. You know what, just, hey, man, here's an idea of a way you could handle something or the way you could do things or, you know, what's something you should think about in your career that could maybe help you. I don't know, but you know, just constant things like that. And I think sometimes he'd probably rather just me sit there and listen to what he has to say. But you know what? I try to do that too. And so being a sounding board for him, letting him say, hey, you know what? Here's things that make me mad or frustrate me or, you know, or any of that kind of stuff. And then just listening and being like, hey, man, like I get what you're going through. And you know what? Young players, you know, kind of giving that solace that just says, hey, man, it is what it is. This is the league. Like you're going to have ups and downs and this is a part of the journey. Just having that opportunity to be that person for him and listen to what's going on and be there for him. I think to me that I take a lot of pride in that. You know, the great thing about Jared that you love is quiet and just in how he is and his great personality. He's also a fighter. And so it never fails. I get something feisty back. I mean, some kind of like,
really?
You know,
I can't see him doing that.
You know, are you know, get another gray hair today?
Oh.
Did you know, like, it's just something feisty back where he's going to take a shot. And I know that's how he is. And I love it.
Was there a moment where it hit you this season and you're like, I think we might go to the Super Bowl?
I don't know if I thought Super Bowl.
Okay.
I thought success. And I'll never forget really the Oakland game, the very first game of the season. We don't have a great turnout in the first half. I mean, it's not really offensively how we think we're going to come out and play. Defense, they're getting drove on, but they're not really giving up touchdowns or anything. Just kicked a couple field goals and scored once, I think. And so we're like, hey, we're still in this game. The second half, we come out and flip the whole game, take it over, and Marcus Peters seals the game on an interception for a touchdown. And really, when you go through that offseason, all those additions and all the things that, you know, I'm a big person that I don't really listen to what people have to say about someone. I develop a relationship with them and then form my opinions about them then, right? Because I can't stand it when people say, you know what, I didn't like you before I met you. And it's like, what does that even mean? You know, but you hear that all the time. And so really to have an appreciation for these guys and how well we gelled together, it really came to a boiling point to me. When that game ended, we gave Marcus Peters the game ball because he'd returned to Oakland. He'd had that moment at the end of the game. And when he called the team up to end the game and, you know, break it down for us to all go get dressed and head home, you could tell he was emotional. And he stuck his hand up and he said, man, you guys are my family. Aww. And he said, family on 3 and broke it down. And when he did that, I knew then and there, already knew we were a talented football team. I knew we had a lot of potential, but I realized at that moment we were tight, and we had a group that believed in one another. And that to me is the special force you can't buy. You can pay for anything you want in free agency. You can spend it all, you can trade it all. You can't buy culture. And to feel that culture in that room at that moment, I knew something was special.
You guys obviously were special, going all the way to the Super Bowl. What happened, we all know. What have these last couple of months been like since then, and how long does it take to get over something like that?
I think for me, it's probably a little easier than other guys, from the sense of this, that my life tied up with 4 kids, a wife, a family, and really all the things I try to do outside of football and the community and everything else. There's not to say that I don't love the game, because you can't play it at my age if you don't love it a whole bunch. I love the game, and it's the world to me, and I want to go compete and try to win every single chance I get an opportunity. But there's a lot of big prizes out there in life, and to me, the Super Bowl was an accomplishment. That's something to check off and say, all right, I did it and I won it. You know, and it's like, man, you missed out on that chance to have that accomplishment. But the reality is, it's 6 o'clock the next morning. Sarah, Elise, you know, Andrew James Jr., Michael Lee, and Catherine Kay need daddy, and they need the best version of me. And so, yeah, it hurt. It's not ideal, and I want to do everything I can for my wife and my kids to be the best version I can. That doesn't mean you're perfect. That doesn't mean you don't make plenty of mistakes. But, you know, the next day, it's like, hey, I got to go win their Super Bowl. And that is teaching them how to love people unconditionally, teaching them how to respect people regardless of where they come from or what their background is, to not care about anything that affects any relationship except for truly getting to know people. And to me, it's like helping them, you know, do well in school and sports and in life. Those are Super Bowls that I got to fight every single day.
You also said something that made a lot of headlines, but I completely understand it because it's something that I live by too. When they asked you about the loss, you said, well, at the end of the day, we're all going to die anyway.
Yeah.
I totally understand what you mean, and I think it's so true, but how do you explain that for people who don't understand?
Yeah, I think, you know, the funny thing is you know, sometimes it's hard for people when they read things in the media to understand the context of things. So really, you know, you get broke up in like 13 different booths. You all have a booth, and there's people asking you random questions. Well, the actual question is, a guy asked me, you didn't win the Super Bowl, your career ends. Like, if this is it, you know, how do you walk away from the game without a Super Bowl? And I said what I meant, and that is the reality. Probably in that moment could have been worded better, but I'd still use the same words.
No, I love that saying.
The reality is this: like, at the end of the day, I'm going to die. There's a lot of accomplishments in life that that I want. Super Bowl is obviously one of them. But me personally, who I am, what I believe in, I don't care if you're the president. I don't care if you're a Hall of Famer or you've been to 1 trillion Super Bowls. You know, how you treat people, how you go about your job, how you go about life, how you react to things every single day is more important to me than one game. And so that is the truth. And that is what I believe in, because I believe that your next moment is your greatest moment to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
And so I you know what? It sucks to lose the Super Bowl. But the truth is, like, the next day, there's something else I can accomplish. The next week, there's something else I can accomplish in my life as a father, as a husband, you know, as an athlete, working hard. I mean, you know, we landed in Atlanta the next day. I started working out. You know what I mean? It's like there's things to do every single day. And so nothing ever completes that to me.